remember being a teenager and so eager to find out what sex was like. I don't know if any of you ladies can relate, but and I wasn't around anything sexual really in my life. Like I was very, very protected as a child, you know. So I didn't see none of these things, but I was eager for the boys, and I was even more eager to impress them because I hadn't found my identity. I hadn't found myself. I hadn't found who I really was. I mean, I'm 13. I'm 12, right? That sounds super young. And so now, me being an older woman, young and fine and all that, you know, I wish I would have saved myself. All the sex I've had in my life, if I could take it back, I would take it back.
Right.
Nobody I've ever had sex with, I feel like at this point in my life deserved it. And for many reasons, because, you know, Shirley, we talk, and you're a virgin, right? And so to me, I'm talking to you, we're having a conversation, and when she tells me she's a virgin, I'm telling her, like, you know what? Don't rush. Like, you're saving yourself. That's a good idea, because coming from somebody who's been fucking, you know, you're not missing nothing. You know what I'm saying? You're not missing the heartbreak. You're not missing the sadness. You're not missing the distractions, because men are a distraction. They stop you from. There's this like drug that they give off when you start loving a man, especially when you start letting him penetrate you, and so you haven't got high yet. Like you haven't gone through any of those things, and I feel like that's why you have so much balance in your life. And so if you don't know Shirley, right? She's one of our angels, right? And you know, we're having a party, and she still finds time to pull out her laptop and do her homework and still make it to her work in the morning and all these things, and still party and still you know, manage life. And so that just goes into like living your best life without being destructive. Because I think I lived my best life, but I was damn sure super destructive, right? So and destructive plays a big part in the sense of saying, okay, listen, I'm going out with this guy. I had way too many drinks. I really know I should take my ass home, but I'm going home with him because right now between my legs is tingling. So I go to his house and he feeds me more liquor. He kisses me in the right spot. And now my panties is off and he's inside of me. And then tomorrow when he isn't treating me the way I want him to be treated, because I always go back to my narrative, like if y'all watch any of my episodes, like setting the standard. That's really what it goes back to. Just setting the standard, setting the tone of, you didn't make this man work for anything. My mom always said, like, why would he buy the cow if he can sample the milk? I was giving them the whole farm. Like, I didn't know how powerful, not because my mother didn't teach me nothing, but I didn't know how powerful my vagina was. I didn't know the pussy power. You think you know the pussy power? That's why you waiting? Or like, what man fucked up that made you say, I ain't giving up, I ain't giving this up to nobody?
That's a great question. So growing up, I always had this idea in my mind that I was going to save myself for the right person. I was always telling myself, I want to wait till marriage, because I've heard so many stories from other women on how much they regret, you know, giving up their body
I'm
to
one of
somebody
them.
that wasn't exactly. There's so many stories like that. So I was very sheltered as a child. So the way I was brought up, I kind of learned from other people's experiences. And I told myself, I want to protect myself as much as I can. So, you know, a friend of mine made that mistake. I'm going to make sure I don't make the same one. So I was in a relationship. I was in a very long-term relationship in high school. It lasted till college. Right. But in the back of my mind, I always knew that this man wasn't worthy.
What was the red flags?
The red flags, not to speak ill on people from my past, but he wasn't honest with me. He was always talking to other women, and I have certain prereqs when it comes to what I want in a man, and I want to feel stable, I want to feel safe, I want to feel secure. And until I feel that way, I'm not going to have sex with anyone.
But you know, men aren't honest until they feel like they're safe with you. The same safeness that you want from a man, he has to feel that too, to be able to say to you, okay, I'm gonna be honest with you, baby. I like Samantha, I like Tina, I like Shirley, but you the one for me. And right now I'm in college and I don't really know what I want. Just like you're saving yourself and saying, I don't know what I really want yet. So I rather hold out so I don't become disappointed.
Also, I want to also like put on the record that it's not just finding the right man. I'm also trying to protect myself from, STDs and pregnancy, because especially when you're young, I've noticed that there's so many people who don't practice safe sex.
Shirley, I've dodged bullets. I think everybody sitting on this table has dodged bullets. I think everybody watching, hey, y'all dodged bullets. They have woken up in days, weeks, and somewhere in somebody's country, state, whatever. I met this guy in the club. I met him by the pool. We had a good time. He whisked me away. We went shopping. We didn't go shopping. He cooked me food. Whatever the experience was, it made you comfortable enough to go home with him and give him some, right? And then because he had you so open and so in euphoria, right? You don't think about the protection or the condom. Not saying you doing this with everybody, but with him, you sitting there like, okay, I trust him. He looked clean. Nobody can tell me they ain't never made that mistake. You might not be making that mistake right now, but you cannot tell me that you have not made that mistake. And I'm not saying everybody, because clearly you are a prime example that everybody is not everybody, right? But my point in saying is that we a majority have made the bad decision to have sex with somebody unprotected. And I'm here to tell you, live and well and healthy, I ain't never caught nothing. So maybe God just didn't have that in my path. Yeah. So I get what you're saying. Like, I haven't had sex because I don't want to catch nothing. But I know women who been with their husband over 17, 20-something years, and she woke up and she had AIDS because her husband was cheating. And this is the only man that she's ever been with. So I'm saying this as advice to you as my I can't tell you what to do with your pussy, right? But what I can say is that when you do decide to give it up, do not go into it with the understanding of, I prevented all these things and I'm finally out of the clear.
And he's perfect.
Not even that he's perfect. Just I'm out of the clear of heartbreak. I'm out of the clear of diseases. I'm out of the clear of anything else that can go wrong when we're talking about sex.
Right.
It may be that you can't get right. You might not have that wet, that a wop, and that when you finally do it, he's like, this ain't good pussy. Right. So now you don't wait it. Now you don't wait it all these years. What if your pussy ain't good?
So
that's not an option.
I know. I'm just saying because
and these are very valid questions. So I obviously, I go to the doctor. My stuff is working okay. It's like perfect. So there's nothing wrong with me downstairs. However, when you practice safe sex, it's when two consenting adults, you're going to enjoy it. So obviously when there's enjoyment, biologically there is an erection, there is lubrication on the part of the woman. So I feel, I know that when I finally start doing it, I'm going to enjoy it. And so is my man. But I want to make sure that I put myself in a position where,
Are you ready to handle like the cons of sex, which is you may get a man that is working for a few years, and sometimes men, y'all know what I'm talking about, it don't get hard sometimes.
Exactly. And sometimes it's kind of small.
Not even small, even because you're waiting. Like, okay, hold on, I don't want to get off topic, but I just gotta say this, right? You waiting. Are you finding out if the dick is big or not? At some point, even if you're not fucking it or sucking it, at some point,
like a reference,
did you at least so you know what you're getting into?
Right. So honestly, I'm gonna be completely 100% honest with all of you. I don't really have a preference on size.
Right.
Right.
Shirley.
ain't been down that road
No,
yet,
because I guess it just depends on the person, but I've heard other women say that size doesn't really matter. It's all about the motion.
No. Hold on. No. Don't lie to my sis. Don't lie to my sis. Don't lie to my sis. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Okay. Some of the best sex I've ever had in my life was from small dick. Okay. Some of the best sex I've ever had in my life was from small dick. I don't know if it was because he took the time to understand my body because he wasn't working with much, so he had a lot more time on his hand. You understand what I'm saying? But he took his time with me, and do you understand? Like, your cervix and your walls are but so big and but so long, and so to achieve, and when you know your vagina and you start I don't know if you masturbate. I don't even want to ask you that. Are you masturbating? You don't gotta answer that. But
Right.
you don't gotta answer that. But my point is that you start finding your G spot and your hot spot. So now you don't need the 10-inch cock to please you, to make you feel good.
Right.
It only takes 4 inches for you to have an orgasm. This is a fact.
Right. I feel like I should be
lot
taking
for me.
notes.
It's a lot for me. I feel like I just don't want you to be disappointed
Right.
knowing that these things are possibilities. You can get with a man and his thing don't get hard just because technical difficulties happen.
Right. No, absolutely.
Are you prepared to handle that?
I would like to say that I am prepared to handle that because at the end of the day, sex isn't the end goal for me. It's not like, oh my gosh, yes, I can't wait until I get married and I can finally have sex. It's because I know that what's attached.
I'm like this.
I
I can't wait.
No, because in my
It better be good.
in my mind, it's, this, who is the sex attached to? It's attached to the person. So obviously, nobody's perfect. If the man I end up with in the future might have, I don't know, erectile dysfunction.
You do a lot of research for somebody not having sex.
I love doing research.
Like,
there's ways to go
it's
around
not about-
that.
yeah.
And at the end of the day,
And she still loves him, and doesn't. I mean, there's gonna be some difficulties because it's just. But you can be in another relationship and have other technical difficulties that don't got
Exactly.
nothing to do with the dick. That you still can't be like, I don't want to have sex with this guy, or I can work around this. It's all about what you can tolerate. My thing about men is that men, I feel like, when it comes to sex, I don't know too many men virgins, right? And I think that's because they don't want to get into something and not know what they're getting into. So it's like the fact that you say like, okay, well, I'm gonna take whatever God gives me. Basically, men don't really feel that way. I probably met one male virgin in my life, and I think I took his virginity.